Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. You know it, 3:30 in the a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I got a very interesting story today. Uh, it involves supermarket or big store self-checkouts. I'm willing to bet I'm willing to bet this is a black and white issue that people probably feel strongly about it. Either they like them or they hate them, one or the other. That's what I'm willing to bet. I'm dying to see what you guys' opinion on this. Personally, I love them. I'll get more into that in a second. Okay, the story down below is from ZDNet. Democrat. There's many sides to this story. Democrat state rep from Rhode Island, one of my favorite little states, right next door here to Connecticut. In case you're from the other side of the country, Connecticut and Rhode Island are right next to each other. If I won the lottery and I could buy a house anywhere in the 50 states, I would buy a house on the beach in Rhode Island. That's where I would live. Anyway, okay, so there's a Rhode Island Democrat state rep, Megan Cotter, and she does not care for these self-checkouts. Like I said, the article's down below from ZDNet, and she talks about, she raises a point, and she decided to write some legislation, and she got two Republican state senators to go along and sponsor this bill with her. Now her point was that she feels, I never even considered this, but this is her point, that she's doing work for free. Not only is she possibly taking somebody else's job, she points out that more elderly people might work as cashiers, and she worries, she thinks she's taking away their jobs. But not only is she taking away somebody's job, but she points out that she's doing a job for free. And I started thinking about that. Personally, I love self-checkouts. I hate going to a checkout with a person at it now. I'll talk more about that in a second. All right. And she brought up the point that you're actually doing labor. And I thought about that. When I bring all my articles up, sometimes I have to wait in line. Usually the store I go to, the big box store, has 4 self-checkouts and about 10 checkouts with cashiers at them. But not all of them are open. Usually only 2 or 3 of them are open. So there'd be probably more self-checkouts open versus live person checkouts. And she points out that you're actually doing labor for free. So she wanted to do something about this, and she decided to pass some legislation. So she got 2 Republican state reps. It doesn't say here or state senators to join with her in this legislation. It doesn't say here if these are the two Republican state senators or not. I don't think it is. I'm not sure. So she wants to pass a bill where she gets a 10% discount off a bill of 10 items or more. I started thinking about that. At a big box store, each item it costs at least $5. So you're talking at least $50. If your bill, I'm rounding off here, but what she's saying here, if your bill is like over $50, you should get a 10% discount. Say it was $50. Say you bought 10 items at $5 a piece, a little over $50. You get $5 off. It's not a bad point. It's not, because I started thinking about it, and I really am performing some labor there. I put my carriage in a specific spot when I have this whole routine, and I put my carriage in a specific spot next to I park it right in a specific way so I can reach the items, and I scan the biggest to the smallest items. Being a little obsessive compulsive, I pile them all in a specific way. I pay in a specific way. I bag. It is a bit of labor. I never really thought about this. And then she brings up this thing too, where she doesn't like, because she thinks the employees are looking over her shoulder, constantly checking everything she's doing. She feels like they're suspicious of her maybe. And then she complains about having her receipt checked by someone before she walks out the door. Now with me, I don't know. I go into the same store all the time, and this guy sees me almost every day, and it's an elderly black man, and I wave to him on the way in, I wave to him on the way out. Sometimes he checks, he probably has to check a certain amount of receipts. It doesn't bother me. I carry the receipt in my hand, You know, if he comes towards me, I show it to him. It's not a big deal. That part's not a big deal. The interesting part, though, is the 10%, wanting the 10% off your bill because you're performing labor. I never thought of that. So apparently, she wants to pass this bill. Now, I didn't know this, but there's supermarket lobbyists. Yes, there's lobbyists for big supermarkets. And they're not into this, you know, because they're saving some money having people do the labor for free. And they're saying that they don't want government telling them what to do with their big business, you know. And I've talked about that. I've taken that side too. So I'm kind of ambiguous on all this. You know, I am performing labor. I'm dying to hear what you guys think. I'm willing to bet that the older people, you know, I'm older, but there's a reason I don't mind going through these self-checkouts, and that's because I have it's self-diagnosed, but I have social anxiety disorder. I tell you guys, I go for a walk every day, and I will cross the street. If I see somebody walking towards me, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if it's male, female, what color, what size, what age. If I see somebody walking towards me, a lot of times I'll cross the street because I just don't want to say hello. I'm in my own world. I'm artistic, and I have a lot of thoughts in my head. And I'm an introvert, and I have social anxiety disorder. I just don't. It's not like I don't like people, but it takes my energy and thought process away from what I'm thinking about. I guess that's the best way to sum it up. And I hate going through the checkouts. I hate, you know, because as soon as I go up to the if I'm forced to go to a checkout with a cashier at it, you know, being an introvert, having social anxiety disorder, the first thing I think about, I look at the cashier and I think, okay, what am I going to say? What's my greeting going to be? Should I talk about the weather? You know, and I gauge in my head, you know, how many items I got and about how long I'll be standing in front of her, what I'm going to pay with. Should I make a joke if I'm paying with a credit card? Seriously, I think introverts or people with social anxiety situations, issues will agree with me. You know, I think everything over way too. I start getting. I wouldn't call it. It's not panicky, but I wouldn't even call it nervous. But it's anxiety. I start getting anxiety if I have to go through a checkout with an actual person at it. I much prefer just doing my own thing, man. Being in my own world, going up to my own, you know, checking my own stuff out. And I know somebody's watching me. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have to talk to them. I don't have to interact with them. You know, and I know you can call me antisocial, but that's really not it. It's not that I don't like these people. Just the other day, there's a lady that watches over the 4 self-checkouts. And she started talking to me. She says, I've seen you walking on the road every day. You know, she's out there, how many miles do you walk? You know, we started talking. And it was a good conversation. I laughed. You know, she's a great lady. Older, probably in her 70s. It was funny. It was an interesting conversation. Here's one of the things I said, too. She said she sees me walking every day. And I went to say this. My usual response to that is, well, it keeps me out of trouble because I'm in recovery. And I got this far. I said, well, it keeps me, and she thought I was going to say it keeps me fit. But I always say it keeps me out of trouble. And she cut in right there. I said, it keeps me. And she said, I know you're in great shape. And I was like, no, because that sounds kind of conceited. So I went to correct her. I said, no, it keeps me. And she goes, I know. And she cuts me off again. You know, and I kind of give up at that point. That, you know, I'm not trying to say it keeps me. I'm not trying to point out the shape I'm in. I'm trying to point out my recovery, maybe. You know, I said it keeps me out of trouble. And that was an interesting interaction. It frustrated me because I left there feeling like she looked at me as conceited. And, you know, and she wasn't allowing me to even say what I was going to say. It's another point why I don't like dealing with cashiers. Anyway, let me know what you think. Like I said, there's some older people, like my parents, do not like self-checkouts. They hate them. And I could see why, because when I go to small, we have super drugstores here called CVS's. I don't know if they're across the country. The other day I go to CVS and I had a coupon for $2 off whatever I'm buying. Except the thing I'm buying was only $1.99. All right, so I figured there's a problem there. I want to use this coupon. It expires tomorrow. I want to get this item for free, but I don't know how this is going to work because this machine can't give me a penny back. I don't think it can deal with this. This is an issue where I need a cashier. But at CVS, they intentionally ignore you now. This is the truth. Let me know if you've encountered this. You go up to the front and there's no cashier there, and it says to ring the bell. And I ring the bell, and I ring the bell again and again. I'm actually with my mother, and I stand there for a good 5 minutes until there's more people backed up behind me, and we're all looking around for anybody's help. And they're up in that little window with the mirror. They're up there watching you. Because I say to my mother, I guarantee you, if I take 5 steps towards that door to go out the door without paying, you'll see somebody coming down from that office. I guarantee you. And sooner or later, somebody came down, and that kind of frustrated me. The CVS thing, the CVS self-checkout and other grocery drugstore checkouts they force you, and there's going to be situations where you need a person. So it's good to have both. How many of one should they have? How many of the other should they have? I don't know. Let me know. I prefer self-checkouts unless I have a coupon question. Let me know what you think. And interesting, it's got different sides. It's retired people might lose their jobs, but they still need retired people to check the receipts and to work at the self-checkout, but less of them. So it saves these big box stores. It does save them some money. Like I said, I didn't know there were supermarket lobbyists, but apparently there is. So read the article down below. Let me know what you think. Have a good Sunday.